One. And we're live. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Thought Process. Back at it again with the quarantine special. We're doing this right today. We're doing the social distancing. So I have Greg on Skype. How's it going, Greg?
I'm doing well. Just trying to. Oh, there we go. I can see everything now. Trying to get everything set up here while you get everything set up on your side.
Yeah, as far as I know, I think we're ready to go. So let's start off today's episode with another haiku. This was a little weird. I read it before the episode, but maybe you can help me out with this one, man. For a
Who's it by?
lovely Basho. For a lovely bowl, let us arrange these flowers, since there is no rice. What I get from this is basically, you know, even though you may not have something, or maybe you don't have the complete tools, a tool set for something, you can still do the best you can with it. At least that's what I get. What do you think?
I have to read it one more time.
Okay.
It was very short. I thought there was more.
Okay. For a lovely bowl, let us arrange these flowers, since there is no rice.
Did the bowl die? Or am I thinking it? It almost
So
sounds like a funeral.
no, a bowl, like a bowl of rice.
Oh, bowl.
Yeah.
Okay. I was hearing bull, like the animal. Huh.
What animal is that? Bull.
A bull? A
Oh,
bull, like
bull.
cow.
Okay. Oh, that's the thing. That's the thing about Skype, right?
Yeah, the mishearing. Yeah. But I mean, that even applies, so you can hear.
Yeah,
Like,
I can hear you fine now.
You can always mishear things in life and interpret things differently.
That's right, man. So, in fact, something that's going on right now is people taking the social distancing to another level. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, people are I went down to. I mean, it's kind of weird to say, like going down to the beach. I live like right next to it, so if I go for a walk, like people freak out about it. So I went down to the beach and I walked there, and the sidewalk is the size of like. It's like, I don't know. What would you? It's
Like
huge.
yeah, it's like 12, maybe 16 feet across.
Yeah, and there was like no one there, and people were freaking out that I was walking down that walkway rather than walking down the street. It's like the street is tiny. You barely have enough room for two people to stand. I was safer at the beach than I was walking down the street.
Yeah. Well, I sent you a message, right? I sent you a little thing. I'm like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? All the state parks and beaches are closed. But I was just messing with you.
It is very interesting though, like to think about, because we were talking about my roommate and I. We were talking about how fortunate we still are, even with this, because we still have a place to live. We're just spending the money we have in our pocket, where other people don't have the money in their pocket,
Yeah, man.
even in normal times.
Yeah, we have to count our blessings. I, for one, I feel very, very grateful and blessed and lucky to still have a job, even though, last time we spoke on the phone, we were talking about who is it that we know that lost their jobs, and little by little, people have been diminishing. A lot of people that I know either started working from home, but I would say the majority of people are out of a job now.
Yeah, because I mean, the majority of jobs are not necessary in life. We've decided that there's so much out there that we have to have in life. Like going out to eat at a restaurant or going through fast food, it's not needed. Like all that's needed is food in general. So you could, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like groceries, like the essentials.
Yeah, we have so many unnecessary things in life that we think are necessary.
Yeah. Well, just the other day I was driving through downtown Fullerton, and it was the only time on a Saturday that you don't see people out in downtown Fullerton. I mean, you've been here.
Yep.
You have it's a college town, so you have all the college students out at the bars. It goes all the way to 2 a.m. But nowadays it's a ghost town.
Right.
But the only place that's not a ghost town is In and Out. The lines for In and Out here are about an hour and a half long.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I went to In and Out, and I thought that they were actually slower than they normally are. Let's be a little quiet, dude. Because that's the last thing I did. The last day I worked, I actually stopped at In and Out because I didn't eat all day,
Uh-huh.
and it only took me like 15 minutes to get through it. Here you go, dude. And I was like, okay, so less people are going here, but like they still were able to retain people because of quality.
Yeah. But
But
do you think that it's because I live in a college town area where most these kids, myself included, barely cook? Like that's one of the things that if I were to say any good thing happened during this quarantine and this pandemic to me personally was the fact that I started cooking more and I started experimenting a little more with food,
uh,
and
I,
I've dialed
I
my nutrition a little better. Now I don't have the excuse, and I'm actually kind of taking advantage of this whole thing by staying home and saving money.
yeah.
So
See,
yeah,
that's
but most people don't.
one of the things too. I wish I could have cooked better and all that, but now with things not being at the grocery store, all the stuff that you would normally save money on by going with like rice or beans or like the cheap food, that stuff's gone now. So you gotta step it up right above the cheapness. Hey, we gotta be a little quiet, dude. And so now I'm having to buy more expensive things um, than being able to buy the cheaper stuff, like making rice dishes and stuff like that. So it's been harder to dial in because you have to sacrifice with buying other things to make sure you have food in your house normally.
Yeah, but one of the things that I was looking at is that everybody went crazy to buy things that last, and given that you have to at this point in time because we're almost at risk of a complete lockdown, but they completely neglected all the fresh fruits and vegetables and the produce area. It's all full everywhere. Every grocery store that I've been, nobody has touched vegetables.
Well, there's another reason for that though,
What is that?
because the vegetables you can't really clean them. So like everyone's hands are on them. They're exposed to air, people walking by, and you can't wash your vegetables with soap. So like if you get a package of potatoes, rice in a package, you take it out, packaging away, that kind of thing.
But
So
don't you think that you can steam the majority of vegetables?
yeah, but steaming is not going to get rid of the bacteria.
Well, you're supposed to wash them under running water and then steaming them. I'm pretty sure heat, for the most part, kills all kinds of bacteria.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that's what I was thinking. I've still haven't heard anyone say that. Uh, like anti, what is it called? Can't even think of the name right now. Antibacteria, whatever. What's that stuff called? You put on
And
your hands.
yeah,
Hand sanitizer.
antibacterial
Yeah,
hand sanitizer.
that even kills it.
Well, the problem is that we hear things from other people, right?
Yeah.
But I did a little research and I found that Purell actually has been advertising for a long period of time that it does kill the COVID viruses, because this isn't the first virus that has come out. It's actually coronavirus number 2. and they've been advertising it on their bottles and product for a long period of time, but for some reason the FDA has put a stop to them advertising it.
Huh. I didn't hear that. I've been hearing a lot of weird things about uh about all of it. A guy down the street from where I worked, apparently his son had it before it became a big deal.
Uh-huh.
And he went to work and did everything normal, and then it became a big deal, and he was like, "Yeah, I already got it."
What the hell?
Yeah, I didn't know the guy, but one of the guys that worked in my restaurant, he had been working over there too. So,
Man, that must have been freaky. Imagine, like, dude, honestly, I
because I
can't.
mean, it doesn't. Go ahead.
What's that?
It doesn't just happen overnight. Like, to reach here, it's had to have been around for a while.
Yeah, but look, this is one of the things that I don't understand about people. If you're feeling sick, even when you have the flu, if you feel
Mhm.
sick, schools and employees encourage you to stay home because even the flu will take out, some of your workforce or some of the students from at school. People will start
Yeah,
missing school. So I don't understand the logic behind I feel sick, I'm going to go to work today. I understand that maybe maybe you don't have any sick days, but this pandemic should be a wake up call to everybody. Moving forward,
yeah. That's
we
another thing with that. Like, people go to work because if they don't, they get fired, and it's like you can't stop from being sick.
yeah, but see, also those people, they they call out sick. Those are that's like one type of person,
Yeah, I
but
guess they call that sick when they're not really sick, and then they get sick and they have to call out again.
yeah, and it becomes a pattern, and the employers, you know, they'll start seeing your pattern. They'll start seeing what you do. You're not showing
Yeah.
up to work. What's going on, right? They start questioning you. Um, yeah, dude. Just the other day, man, and I've been hitting myself like in the ass. I've been giving myself a hard time because me and my wife we decided to take out the dog to go for a walk. And here in downtown Fullerton, there's a place called Thousand Steps, and it's like they have stairways where people go and do exercise.
Yeah.
So we went over there, and it was about 10 a.m. And when we got there weren't too many people, so we did one round uninterrupted. But then we went a second time, and this time there were like people had started coming out, people started gathering there, and people were coming down the wrong way. They were coming down instead of going up. They even put signs up saying, "Hey, you guys need to go one way, go up, then turn around and keep a 6 foot distance or whatever." Well, we're climbing the stairs and people are breathing down your neck. I stopped. I stopped one guy and I looked over. I said, "So much for social distancing, right?" And the guy, he at first he didn't know I was talking to him, but then he turned around and then it clicked. And I then felt bad, man, because first of all, what am I doing there? You
Yeah.
know, why were we there? And it's just one of those things. It's like people are oblivious to this. It's almost like it's almost like if it's not real because you can't see it.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a difference between like going for a walk and going and doing something that's obviously you're gonna be near people. Like, uh, I don't know. Like, we were having when it first started, we went over to our neighbor's house and we just all had dinner. And then after that night, we're like, oh, I guess maybe we shouldn't do that. And then after that, we would like shoot like we have these little guns that have like little like soft foam balls.
The Nerf guns.
It's kind of like that, yeah. So we shoot those at each other, and then we're like, oh, wait, we got to be touching these. Now you're touching them. It's the same as shaking a hand. So we kind of just now stand on our balcony and yell back and forth to each other. But the other night we all got drinks and some people took shots together, and we got on Zoom and we were playing Cards Against Humanity. And I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Like, I've been saying this for forever. What's the difference between talking to people online and being right next to them?
Well, I think that it's like right now, there's a certain disconnect. It's the human, I wouldn't say the human touch, but also the human touch. It's more of, it's like,
Almost done.
I don't know. It's like the same reason why people like to go to raves and feel a crowd around them.
Yeah.
There's something that comes with being together in the same room. Also, I think that it's like reading each other's body language. Like right now, we're talking, and I don't know if you can see me, but I can see you, but I can't really see your expressions. You know, I'm going off from what I hear, and even though this is still a good conversation, it's not as engaging as it would be in person.
Sure. I'm like barely even looking at you too. So I don't know. Maybe I was just groomed for this type of thing through the years of always doing this.
Well, you
I
always you always played games, right? So you were
yeah.
on chats and
Yeah, everyone who's like right now, they're all like freaking out. Like, I need to talk to people. I need to do something. I need to do this and that. And I'm just like, I'm chilling.
oh yeah,
Like, there's times you get bored, just like when you hang out with people. There's that point of when you're bored, you need to go do something else. Hold on, dude. Please don't do that.
but also
And-
it's there's a lot of people who are extroverted or extroverts, and we're more introverts, so we're okay with this. Like this to me is usually how I conduct business. You know, during the week, maybe I'll get on a call with you or get on a call with one of the guys, and we talk over the phone. And it's rarely that we rarely go out and see each other anymore. And we've kind of been doing this for about 2 years now, don't you think?
Yeah.
So it's almost become second nature at this point. But there's a lot of people out there like, Luis, he's been suffering, man. He's like, dude, this quarantine's got me lonely. I don't know what to do.
See, I don't know. I've never really had an issue with it.
Yeah, it's your introvert side.
Or you get used to it. What is it? I think there's a thing for that. When you get, it's the same concept as like when you're smelling things. What is that called? The like when you get used to a smell, you don't smell it anymore.
I forget what it's called. I can look it up.
Yeah, what is that called?
Maybe you can look it up since you have a laptop in front of you. Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but I know what you mean.
Olfactory fatigue, also known as odor fatigue. But it's that same concept. Maybe I just got used to being lonely and I don't feel lonely anymore. I've lived in loneliness for too long.
Oh my god. That's the funniest thing I've heard all day.
What is it? It's just like in 300. He's like, he was saying that he's lived a warrior his whole life. He doesn't know how to be anything else.
Yeah, that's so funny.
You've been groomed for this moment.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing is that the technology nowadays is allowing us to keep doing this, at a time like this, which is So that's really cool.
That's why I also think that things can bounce back quickly because there's enough way to influence people now into doing things. Like in the Great Depression, you had a newspaper. Like, that's kind of the only way of telling people, hey, get back to normal.
Yeah.
Like now, people will be able to convince people that things are okay and you should do this and you can do that. And Go out to eat. Look at this. This is gonna be fun. Like, I almost feel like governments will use influence by people to get people to do, and will recover much quicker. Not saying it's gonna be great for everyone, but I think the recovery will.
Well, the problem is that here in California, we haven't even gotten to the peak of this pandemic.
I mean, I don't know. I know it's not a good thing, but I mean, I I think it's mostly there already. Unless something else happens on top of this, but the reason we're like stopping everything is kind of already here. It's not approaching. Like, we're some of the last groups of people to be getting it. So like, it would be getting much worse in other places before here. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
sure, maybe someone we know hasn't gotten it yet, and when they get it, they may die. I like that sucks, but like in the grand scheme of things, I think like what's happened has happened. So it
Yeah,
just has
see,
to.
the problem with this whole virus thing is, people can be asymptomatic and they can be walking around without any symptoms.
Yeah.
And then eventually it'll reach somebody who it can kill.
Yeah, like did I tell you about Oliver's brother, my son's brother?
No?
He ended up going to the emergency room because he had thrown up one day and his stomach was hurting, and other than that, he was perfectly fine. And then 2 days later, he had a fever and a headache, and then took him to the emergency room. And so they were testing him for it, and the results came back yesterday, and he doesn't have it. But I mean,
See, that would have been really
yeah,
scary for you and Oliver, right?
it could have been, but like at the same time, that you can't do anything at that point. It's like whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Sure, you can take measures against things, but I don't know that it doesn't go away just because we waited so long. The whole waiting period is just to slow it down, so they have more resources to help more people.
Right.
Like it's kind of the same concept for what do they call that? Like when a natural disaster happens, they're not going to be able to help everyone, even if they have the resources. They got to choose who and how many people they can help at one moment,
Right.
and that's what they're trying to do is just slow down that moment over time to help the most amount of people they can.
Yeah, that makes sense. But see, one of the things that you just touched up on was people not being prepared for it. And again, every time I go to the grocery store, if I go to the grocery store, I haven't really been. Um, I see that the produce section again is untouched, and maybe you don't have to get veggies, but you can get things like fruits to help your immune system be better. Because look at now, people are in quarantine. You're now not only eating crap. Let's say you're a college student, you're not just eating in and out all day, every day, but now you're also not getting sun, vitamin D. So, and if you're a kid, like you're not taking vitamins. So everyone's forced to be inside. The people who have adapted to, cooking their meals at home are going to be okay, but the people who are not, like, imagine when they come out and let's say that there's like a resurfacing of this virus, those people are going to have the lowest immune system ever.
Yeah,
So what's going to happen then?
yeah, it can
So
happen.
I think the best
It,
thing, I think for one reason it's good that we're doing the social distancing.
yeah,
Again, we're kind of stopping the spread of the virus. Maybe not stopping the spread, but like you said, we're allowing people to get help.
yeah, that's something they should advertise too. Like when they say it's not stop the spread, it's slow the spread. You
Slow
can't
the
stop
spread.
the spread. You can't
Yeah.
stop the spread of something you can't see.
Yeah.
Like it's just like what was it? It was in Santa Ana, right, where the Black Plague came back. So all the homeless people.
What? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, what it came back because all the homeless people, they were peeing on the street, pooping. There was just there were rats everywhere. Um, there was something that came back, and people were having it. It was like all you need to do is get a shot for it. But like
Was it
you can't.
hepatitis or
That was there
something?
too. Yeah. But it's just like you can't control what you can't see. You can slow things out, or you can learn what combats it, but it'll always be there.
Right.
So just do your best, and you can't control anything else around you. So it's like, let's say in 1 month we open back up, you never got it, and you go out because everyone says it's fine, and you gave it to this person's grandma, and now that person gets sick. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, dude.
It's
Um,
just like cancer. We found ways to cure some people with cancer, like, but it's still always going to be there.
right. Have you noticed you treating people a little differently? Like, for instance, for me, when like
I mean, I like.
my innate nature is to be, I'm almost like passive to a fault. Like, I like to be polite
Uh huh.
with people, especially when you meet people, or maybe let's say that you meet somebody. Like that one time we were playing soccer and the guy came over and he's like, "Hey, can I play with you guys?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, sure, it's fine. You know, you don't look like a creep, so it's fine."
Yeah.
Um, so that's my nature, almost to a fault. But the other day, I'm telling you, man, the guy was breathing down our necks, and I just looked over. I'm like, "Well, is it me? Is it? Should I even say anything?" Like, I was stuck there for a little bit. I didn't know what to do. But then I thought about it. I'm like, okay, I already put myself in this predicament. What can I do now? Do I stay quiet and have him pass everybody else? Or do I say something? Because nobody was saying anything. It's like one of those things that it's like the elephant in the room. A
Yeah.
lot of people see it, but they don't say anything. So
Yeah.
I thought to myself, like, am I gonna be the guy to tell this guy something that you can't be running past people, exhaling all these particles in the air next to people?
Uh huh.
We're going up and down stairs, so you're breathing and you're breathing in and exhaling at a fast pace. You don't really know if you're spitting out, like you like you don't really know. So why put yourself in that situation? And well, I guess I guess I went against my nature and I had to say something. That's something that I've noticed. Um, like something for me that changed is I've been more outspoken when things more when it comes to family. Like if I was there by myself, maybe I wouldn't have said anything. I just would have stayed quiet. And next time, I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna go down this park. But because
Yeah.
my wife was there, I almost felt like the need to protect her. Have you encountered anything like that recently with having your son and all?
Well, yeah, because one of my roommate's friends works in a hospital. She works at like the medical side, not the medical side, the like the office side of it. She's not like
Like administration?
yeah, but like she's still at the hospital, and we watched her son one night, and then we're like, should we have him back so that she can go to work?
Right.
And so we talked there, and she said she doesn't need us to watch him. So we said, yeah, we're not gonna do it because it was more we were doing it to help her so she could like sleep. And then she's like, yeah, I mean, you don't have to watch him. He's fine if he stays at the house with me. So we said, yeah, we're not gonna watch him. So
And that went totally against what you would have done without this, right?
yeah,
Without being in this situation.
yeah.
Yeah, I
'Cause
won. I wonder how people are going to change.
I do look at people like they're dirty though. Like I'll still smile at people, but like when I went to the grocery store the other day, I made my roommate touch the shopping cart, and then the moment he didn't touch it and I had to push it, I didn't touch anything until I got home. I washed my hands and I didn't itch my face at all. Like my face would be itchy. I'd be like, ah! I'd look like a crazy man, like twitching, like almost bringing my hand up and then
Uh-huh.
using my shoulder instead or
Yeah.
something. So
You know, I where was I? I went to go grab some shoes for the dog because apparently she's allergic to something, so her paws get inflamed. They get swollen, right? So now we have to get her shoes. So I went out to get her shoes. I'm at the cash register, and the lady she coughed into her elbow. Luckily, another like there was a person in front of me, and so she was taking long with that person. There was another person who came and helped me and checked me out, but I
yeah,
didn't know what to do at that point. I'm like, well, what do I do? Like, I need to buy this. I can't not buy this now. Like, I have to touch everything. I didn't bring gloves. I didn't prepare.
yeah.
And you know what, man? That's one of the things I think that people wearing gloves and masks, they're doing. I think they're doing a good job. They're doing a good thing by doing that, man.
I mean, at the same time, I guess I don't know enough about it, but what is the glove gonna do differently? That's
Well,
what I don't get about it because you're still touching things, just your gloves touching it. So it's
yeah.
on your
So
gloves. You take the glove off and then you wash your hands. Less of the germs would have been on your hands in the first place, so you have a higher chance of getting rid of it all. But
yeah.
like
So
you're
I
still
took my
going around and touching everything else. So like at a certain point it's they're already all around you.
see. I took my mom to the bank. I passed by, gave her a ride to the bank. She needed to go to the ATM to deposit something. And when we got there, she had her gloves and everything. When we got there, I didn't touch anything. I was just showing her how to do things. But when she finished, she deposited. She put her card, everything. Before she got her card, I told her, I'm like, Mom, you now have to take off your gloves. You know that, right? And she's like, Why? I'm like, because I had to explain to her. She's 70 years old. I have to explain to her why she can't touch the like the why she can't touch the card with her gloves is because when she takes off her gloves, it's now on the card. So it was just funny that, like you said, a lot of people don't think about it. Like, maybe you can't do you can only do so much
Yeah.
to avoid it, but at a certain point, you know,
It's just like that jacket you have on right now. I'm assuming you've probably worn that every day you've gone out.
no, I only wore it today.
Oh. Well,
In fact, since this whole thing started, it's the first time I wore it today.
oh, it's because I mean it's the same thing. Like I wear the same clothes, sure. You probably wear jackets and you probably wear hats and you might wear your pair of pants more than two times. Like you go out, it's on all that stuff. If it's up, you know. Like
Yeah,
you're all exposed. You're exposed to everything. So I don't know. I've stayed in my house, but I probably would have gone out more than I have done now to a degree. I usually only go out like once a week, anyways. So I've cut that out.
and it's usually coming here, huh? It's coming
Yeah,
here to the studio.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like, and that's one of the things that I keep seeing with a lot of people too is people who are still working. I've seen this so many times already. They're still spending their money. They don't see a difference, but they're still working. They're on the same path they were on before. Like they're not losing any money. They may even be saving money. Like if you haven't lost any work, and I'm assuming your wife has worked more too. Like if anything, you guys are still on the same path you've been on. You're saving money. You're paying off your bills. Like you don't necessarily see a difference. Where I'm using my saved money and I don't want to spend any money. So like a lot of people I know of have been going online and buying things. I'm
yeah,
just like, what are you doing? Like that's crazy.
yeah. No, personally, I think this has done a lot of good for me. We've been saving more money. We cut out the date night, going out to a restaurant or going out to the
True.
movies or doing, et cetera, et cetera. And we've just Yeah, I mean, again, if I had to say one good thing happened to me during this whole thing, has been, I'm gonna say two things. Number one, I saved more money, and number two, I've I'm cultivating my chef in me. You know, the chef in me. I've been cooking more. The other day, I made spam fried rice.
What the
Dude,
heck?
dude, if you're, I know you don't like any Asian food except for the pho that one time that you ate.
Spam's not Asian. Isn't spam Hawaiian?
Well, it's Hawaiian, but I learned it from the Asian culture. I don't know if you know in Hawaii or the Hawaiians they if they eat spam fried rice. I think they put pineapple and stuff in it. I didn't do any of
Probably.
that. I just did rice, carrots, peas, the spam, a little egg, and a few other things. And dude, I had it for lunch one day, then I had it the next day for lunch. I had never made anything from scratch before. You know, I make steak and I make different things here and there, like meats and proteins, but never anything from scratch.
Yeah.
Now my wife's getting into baking. Today she made some really good chilaquiles. I
I
don't
know.
know
I
if
made some cookies yesterday.
you made some ribs. You said that, right?
No, I made cookies yesterday. I made a pork roast today.
Oh,
I made
pork
like three
roast.
casseroles already. But I mean, casseroles are so easy. People just don't want to like cook it. All it is throw a bunch of ingredients together, pop it in the oven or the crock pot, and that's it.
But see, that's what I'm saying. A lot of these people who have the means to cook, they have a
Hmm.
place, they've bought groceries here and there. They don't cook. They're still over at In and Out making a line, waiting an hour and a half to get their food.
Yep.
It just baffles me.
Yeah. I don't know. Not much is gonna. I mean, outside of not being able to work or anything, not much is gonna change for me. I don't think. Like I've always wanted to save my money. Well, like I don't know. Unless the dollar bill doesn't become useful, I'll just go back to work and someone will hire. Someone will give you money to live.
Yeah, there's light at the end of the tunnel. The problem
Yeah.
is that we don't know how long the tunnel is.
Well,
It's getting
yeah.
awful. It's getting awful dark for some people.
Yeah, but
See,
I'm
like
prepared for
you,
things. It's
you're
just like
prepared, right? You're prepared. You got prepared, but that's your nature. Like we discussed it in one of the podcasts before. Like
yeah,
you grew up this way. There's a lot of people who they were going paycheck to paycheck.
yeah,
You know what's going on with them?
yeah. I know someone, and I don't know. I've been checking up on all the people that I worked with. Just
Uh
sending
huh.
a message, hey, how you doing? This and that, and it's very interesting that there's two. From what I've seen, there's only two types of people that I worked with. I'm actually really surprised because it's the first time I worked at three different stores with the same company, and one of the stores everyone just spent money. The other store everyone had a family. And then this store it's like like a lot more single people, and a lot of them either they saved money or a lot of them had multiple jobs and they spent all the money because they had families. So it was like they couldn't save because they were doing paycheck to paycheck, not because they were bad with money. And like, just interesting to see that not as many people as I thought from this store had to worry about money. Like they wanted to
Yeah,
continue to work. They're freaking out that they don't have work because they have to spend the money they didn't want to spend.
but also another thing is like, could you really have been prepared for this? I mean, yes, you could have saved. You could have like fallback money, an emergency fund or whatnot. But we don't even know how long this is going to take. Everybody's talking about this recession that's coming. That's already here. I think this was a tipping point for it. Actually, properties are going to go down. If you had money invested in the wrong area, maybe you had stocks in whatever. A lot of people
Yeah,
lost a lot of money
I mean,
Yeah.
people who are going to be retiring soon, or like right now, or in the next like 5 years, it's going to be bad. But like anyone past that, the money's going to come back.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll see what happens.
Because I mean, it's life didn't end. It's like sure, I mean, it ended for some, but it's not the what you would consider the end of the world, in the sense of God's coming back and or whatever you believe in. The end of the world is. I'm not like I'm worried about if for any reason it keeps going, but like the second that they let things open back up, I'm willing to work hard and make money. Like it's not an issue. But right now, you're just not really allowed to. Like I was surprised about our friend who's making those bookshelves.
Yeah. Oh
Like
yeah,
to
shout out
me,
to Gabe. I forgot what his company was called. South Co, something like that.
I'm just very surprised that people are buying expensive bookshelves. See what I'm saying? Like people are still spending money. People still have money to go out and do things with. Just no one wants to do extra.
Yeah.
Enough of the people who live paycheck to paycheck are the people who the AKA successful people are getting a lot of the money from. Because a lot of people paycheck to paycheck are the ones spending a lot of their money.
Right, man.
So it's like if they
It's
don't
funny
have
how that
money,
works, right?
yeah, other people who have the money are just sitting on it. So now the people who would spend money aren't making any money. So you're not going to get any money out of those people.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point of the stimulus too. It's to make sure that people who are spending money have money to spend.
Yeah.
Like I thought about it, if I get the stimulus check and uh, I get unemployment because I'm not working, like it should be equivalent to the amount of money I was making before, which means I'm still technically saving. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, but see, you have a different outlook, and than other people,
Yeah.
which is good, man. I'm happy that you think that way, dude. Because I don't know a lot of people that think that way.
Like
I mean,
we went to the grocery store to get some like essential stuff. Like we went and got some bananas and some food for the dinners we were making. There's like I've really wanted hot Cheetos and I grabbed some once and I threw them back. I was like, nah, I don't need this. Grabbed some Nutella, threw it back too, didn't need it. And like I spent $45 and I was like freaking out, but it was enough food to eat for like weeks. Not 2 weeks. It was enough for like a week. And I
yeah,
was freaking out that
that's
I
not
spent
bad.
45. But I mean, I did that before too. So,
Yeah,
and the only thing that freaks me out is the things that are unknown in the sense of you can't control it. Just like them keeping a business closed, you can't control that. Like, that's why I'm freaking out because no, I'm not freaking out. Like other people who are already at the tipping point at the very start of this, like their tipping point is only getting crazier and crazier by the day. Like that's why I'm
yeah.
surprised.
If
Like I don't think
anything,
we're reporting on crimes and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Just start freaking more and more people out. It's like I have a buddy who's what is it? He's the assistant for the governor of I'm not gonna say the state just in case.
yeah,
And he said, I was like, why aren't you working so much right now? He's like, there's not really anything we're doing. Like we're not really arresting people unless they're doing anything really bad. Like so I was like, I could go run down the street butt naked and you guys would just tell me to put clothes on and go away. It's like, yeah. So like,
So
like
what's the science behind this? Like, why are they not doing that?
because they don't want to crowd prisons. Like they've
But
let people
aren't
go.
but aren't prisons already crowded?
Yeah, so they've already let a lot of people out of prison.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, like I'm assuming you watched Joe Exotic, Tiger King.
Oh yeah, man, Tiger King. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got corona.
What?
Yeah, he got it.
Where'd you
Carol,
read this?
you can find it online.
Yeah, why don't you find it and read it to us? I want to know what
So to read, he has coronavirus.
he's got.
He got
Coronavirus.
yeah.
So, is anything? I mean, he's still in for 20 years, no? 22 years.
I don't know all about that. I didn't pay enough attention to the last episode to even remember the full extent of why he even went in.
Oh yeah. Well, let's not spoil it on the. I want people to watch it. It's an
But-
actual good show. It's a good documentary. I enjoyed it. There's a lot
Really?
of yeah. I enjoyed it because it was very eclectic, very eccentric.
I thought it was
It's
just
very different.
it's an interesting story, but it's not exciting. Like I'm surprised to hear that some people even watched it all the way through.
See, it's not exciting, but it is interesting.
Yeah, it's weird,
Because-
interesting.
Yeah,
Tell
because up to that point, I didn't know people like that existed. I mean, I had an idea that Florida was a little wacky, but Joe Exotic, man.
I know. How do you let all these ex-cons and these meth heads how did he have a gun walking around?
It's Florida.
Like,
I think it's
how was
legal.
that not away from him at a certain point?
I think
that's
it's
what
legal.
He was talking about he had no licenses to own tigers and stuff, and he just owned them anyways. How did someone not come in and be like, yeah, this is not legal, bye? I don't
know, man.
if I just started buying tigers right now and open a zoo down the street and buy some land, that's just okay.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy, man. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, just the whole story is bizarre.
Close
You
the
know?
door, please. You go out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just bizarre, and
Tell you though, if you work hard, you can make something work.
it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter where you come from, who you are, what you do, anything. You can
It's a
make
great
a
experience.
business out of underwear. You can make a business out of underwear. You can make a business out of socks. You can make a business out of anything as long as
That's-
you have the drive and the persistence.
That's why when you hear, oh, that's not going to work, all you have to do is think of Joe Exotic.
Yeah, man.
Anything. Even sometimes the most ridiculous thing that works because it's so ridiculous people don't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot from him. His work ethic, but
Yeah.
also just how I mean, the guy is a showman,
hmm
and he knew how to work it. He knew how to work it. He knew how to do things the right way. Again, I don't want to give too much away. I think that everybody can learn something from a documentary like that.
I don't know. I don't feel like I learned anything except for don't. I don't know. I don't think I learned much.
You don't think you learned anything from the guy, or even the people around him? The people.
I mean- I learned how to get tigers to eat people, I guess.
Okay, let me give you this one. What about spoiler alert? Again, if you haven't watched it, this is a big spoiler. What about the girl who got her arm bitten off and she went back to work in 7 days? What about that girl? Did you learn anything from her?
No.
You didn't learn anything?
No, she probably was bribed to come back to work so early.
Why would she be bribed?
Because she even said, she was like, if I didn't get back to work, they would have seen this. People were coming to her to try to get the zoo closed. And she didn't want the zoo closed.
Right, but see, it was a personal choice. It wasn't that people were come on, dude. Nobody can pressure you to go back to the restaurant if you lost an arm. Nobody can pressure you.
If they told me they were going to shut it down and yeah, totally.
Yeah, but if let's say they're gonna shut it down, obviously you don't have to work anymore. You're now handicapped, and you're probably in a lawsuit.
Yeah, but you also don't think that she was a meth head and had issues just like the rest of them did?
Out of everybody else, I think she
Get out of
seemed the most normal.
Sure, but did any of them seem normal?
No.
Exactly, that's my point. She probably knew she had no other chance anywhere else.
I don't know, dude. I think that just her determination
No,
and
I know
just
what you're saying
you
with
know,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I definitely would have probably been more depressed and not been able to work 7 days. May have come back later, but yeah, that's crazy because like there's a documentary out there right now too about the surfer girl that went pro with who got her arm bitten off by a shark when she was like 13, I think.
oh yeah, I heard about it. What was the name of it? Do you know? Is it on
Uh,
Netflix? Where is
on
it at?
Netflix. Can't remember the name of it, but it is on Netflix. Yeah, she was out surfing. She's 13. She was on her way to becoming pro, and she got her arm bitten off. And I think they said like a week after she got back into the water. Sure, she didn't go out and she couldn't surf because she wasn't strong enough. She didn't build up the strength to swim with one arm, and she couldn't get to waves because she couldn't go under other waves, so she couldn't get out. And
But she
so
was
they,
out there trying.
yeah, and she became a professional surfer.
Man,
She
that's crazy.
she beat the world best surfer, and she I think she surfed those giant waves too. I forget the name of them. Jaws is like where they do it, where they like tow you in with a jet ski.
Uh huh.
She did that.
That's
She's crazy.
so insane, man. And here we are. You know, we're afraid of this coronavirus. Some people, they're like, you know what? I'm so afraid to go out. I'm just gonna stay indoors. And
There's a small difference there though.
what I'm saying is, like, a lot of people are using the pandemic as an excuse to not do things.
Sure.
You know,
And
and
some people are using it as a vacation too. I mean, they know they can't go back to work and be like, "Hey, I want my two weeks vacation. Take some more time off." You know what I mean?
yeah, but see, it's a staycation. I don't know who would want to. Again, I think people have they still have the need to go out. They a
Oh,
lot of people
they'll go out.
hate being indoors.
Yeah, like someone I know went and got their nails done the other day. There's car wash places still open. I mean, I walked down to the donut shop last week. Like people are still doing things like when they get bored enough. But I
Although,
don't know.
yeah, I don't recommend it. You never know, right? It could
Yeah,
be it could stop with you, and then imagine like you feel a little sick. You're like, I'm just gonna go grab a donut, and then next thing you know, everybody at that donut shop gets it, and then we're back in it again.
but I don't know. I've heard a lot of interesting things. Like the more you if you have the virus and you sit or say you're in the hospital and you're around other people who have the virus, that it almost seems like the virus like gets worse. Like your symptoms get worse the more you're around other people with it.
Uh huh.
But I don't know. It's kind of the same thing with cancer. Like it sucks that someone else has it. Like you don't necessarily think that you can get it. Like sure, it's not the same. Like someone can't just spread cancer to you that we know of.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. It's like if you don't have it, you don't really feel. You don't really
Yeah,
feel it. It's until you
it's
get
like
it is when you realize, like, oh shit, this is actually a big deal.
yeah, it's like lung cancer essentially. Like you can get it from smoking. Some people are like, okay, it's a chance I'm gonna get.
They still
Same
do it.
thing. You can
Yeah.
get coronavirus if you go out. So some people
Right.
are like, yeah, I'll just risk it. And we've
There's
seen,
a lot of people who don't believe it. What do you think about those people? They don't believe that they're like, oh, it's just fear mongering. It's like what we were talking about at the beginning of all this. I was telling you, I'm like, dude, is this even real? And it
yeah,
wasn't until, I saw my mentor's boss, like his company collapse, when I realized, I'm like, oh man, this is more real than I anticipated.
yeah.
Like the shit hit the fan, and nobody could anticipate this before. Nobody knew this was coming. And here we are, you know, 2 months later. Well,
Hmm.
usually we do a the Let's Ask the World segment. But I didn't post anything. Did you? Did you?
Nah.
Any
Mm-mm.
questions? No.
Nope.
I'm thinking maybe we can do a the what was I wanted to call it common sense, or common sense not so common. Do you know? Do you have any piece of advice, or not even piece of advice, just any common sense that you think people should know that don't already know?
Um.
Like for instance, I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring up this again. So, we're walking up the stairs, and then we're going down the stairs, and the guy is breathing down your neck. If you see the signs everywhere saying you have to be 6 feet apart, the common sense would be, let's stay 6 feet apart. What's happening where maybe this person's not paying attention, that's a whole different story. But the common sense during this time is social distancing. Let's stay 6 feet apart. Avoid gatherings of, or big crowds. Um, but also, like, what do you do? What do you do if you have to go to the grocery store and you have to be at Costco in a 2 hour line long, or 2 hour long line?
I don't know. I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen
I've
that?
got-
Have you been to
no.
Costco at all?
Yeah, I went to Costco. There was when was this? I did wait in line, but we weren't standing next to each other. We were there for maybe 30 minutes, and then we went in, and there was no line. So, I don't know. I don't. I think you have time. People are used to their schedules, so like people who are still working are still going after work. So like there are crowds, there are busy times, but people have the option to go when it's not busy.
Right.
People have the option to stand back in a way, and when you touch things, wash your hand. Like same thing. Take a shower. Still be on your body.
Just wash
gotta
your
wash
hands, right?
gotta wash your body the same way you wash your hands. Because what if it's on your elbow, and
Yeah.
then you scratch your elbow, now it's on your hand again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like people are opening doors with their elbows and pushing with their shoulders. Now it's on your clothes instead of your hands. So the second you go to scratch your shoulder, now it's on your hand, and then you don't wash your hand because you didn't think you touched anything, but now you did. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like
you can't escape it.
you can't. It's gonna happen eventually, and the consequences is per person. Like you can't necessarily do anything about it. Sure, if we slow it down, then there's a higher chance that someone, like the whole ventilator concept, if there's not enough ventilators, once less people have it, there's enough ventilators for the people who need it, and then when someone else gets sick and needs one, now there's there and more supply. Like the people who
Um,
are dropping dead from it, period, it's gonna happen now or a year from now.
right. Did you happen to hear about the company in Italy who 3D printed an accessory to fit onto a scuba mask? Did you
Mm-hmm.
happen to hear about that? So people in Italy are now using scuba masks to as a way to get the ventilator, because a lot of people can't get the mask, like the whatever the mask they provide at the hospital. So a
Yeah.
company was turning scuba masks and 3D printing an accessory to basically make sure more people get the ventilators that they need.
Hmm. I
It's
know a
very
lot of people
interesting.
have been like trying to make masks out of like shirts and stuff, but I was told this. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but you know the paper towels, the blue ones you would use like on your car.
Yeah.
They're like, I guess those actually,
The surgical towels, is that the one you're talking about?
I don't know if they're surgical. You find them usually at like auto shops. Like you'll use it when like you change your oil and stuff just to wipe things up. They're blue. They're like blue paper towels.
Yeah, I know which ones you're talking about.
Apparently, those have a better guard than like clothing and stuff like that. So like if you had to you use one of those over using like a cloth.
Yeah.
Very interesting, different things that you hear and different things different people are doing, but we'll see. I think people when no one talks about it anymore, people are just about it, and then we'll have the different consequences, which is going to be money and work and
Right.
debt and stuff like that.
So, anyway, so do you have a piece of common sense not so common?
Like I said, take a shower.
Common sense.
Don't think
Also
that your
common.
hands don't think that your hands are the only thing that can get dirty.
Yeah. Wash your hands like you wash your ass, right?
Sometimes wash your ass more than you wash your hands.
Oh man. All right,
But
man. Do you have anything else to add?
no, that's it.
Yeah, I think we've been doing it for an hour. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the podcast. I'm actually gonna be doing a little bit more research. In fact, I was gonna hit you up, Greg, to see if we could maybe do watch a documentary and put it on the podcast with no sound, and then maybe we can do commenting on it. I don't know. Do you think that's legal to do?
I mean, yeah, because you can talk about something as long as you're not displaying anything.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few documentaries that I would want to go over. Um, I think the first one I want to do is Super Size Me. Have you ever watched that before?
I hate that one. It
What do you
annoys me so much.
What do you hate about it?
Just the premise of how they did it all. Like they made it just seem. I just don't agree with it. Like I agree with some of it, but not all of it. Like it's a very misleading.
Okay, so it's perfect. It's perfect because we can get two different angles on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll schedule that off the air or whatnot. But anyway, guys, subscribe, like this video, listen to the podcast, listen to the other 30 hours that we have on here on YouTube. Um, subscribe, comment, let us know what are you guys going through right now. Did you guys prep? Did you not prep? If you did, what did you do right? If you didn't, I hope you guys learned your lesson. Um, yeah, hopefully, this will be over before we know it. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the other side of this when this is done.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Appreciate you.
Have a good one. Yeah, Greg, just before we go, I'm going to read an excerpt from the Heart of Buddha.
Alrighty.
And so, and this kind of touches on the subject here. It says, thousands of candles can be lighted from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared. So I'll say it one more time. Thousands of candles can be lighted from a single candle. Hashtag coronavirus. And the
Yep.
life of the candle will not be shortened. In this case, there's a possibility. And happiness never decreases by being shared. Now that is something that I completely agree with. So
Yeah.
even though you guys, we're mandated with social distancing, call somebody. Call your mom. Maybe you haven't called her in ages. Call your brother, call your sister, call a friend. And just be there for one another. That's part of the reason why Greg and I are doing this podcast through Skype, is because we get something from sitting here and talking. Yeah, maybe you guys can do that on your own. And if you can't, join us here on the podcast. We'll do it for you. Anyway,
And there's something you don't think that you can do it slow. If you fail, then don't worry about it. Do something else. Like, I don't know. Like, it could be anything. If you wanted to learn how to draw, go try to draw.
Yeah, now is the perfect time to do all those things you kept putting off.
Yeah.
Like Greg just said, you wanted to be an artist. Well, now is the time to practice to see if you really have it in you. You want to be, musician. Now is the time to practice. So, with that being said, thank you again for joining us on the podcast today. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
All right, Greg. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. See ya.